Today is Monday, October 10th. What to know about an explosion on a key bridge for Russia, how Russia is already retaliating, and the people working toward peace. Also, the damage estimates from Hurricane Ian are starting to come in, just as residents of some of the hardest hit areas are finally allowed to see their homes. Plus, PayPal threatened to take money out of your account if you violated its policies. Now the company is apologizing. Why some of Kanye West's social media accounts were restricted, and a first-of-its-kind Netflix debut in theaters only. Those stories and more news to know next. Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in around 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this. There's been an explosion on a critical bridge for Russia. Some are calling it a major escalation of the war, hitting Russia closer to its own border. And Russian President Vladimir Putin is calling it an act of terrorism. The blast collapsed a portion of the bridge that set fire to another section, engulfing a train loaded with fuel. The Kerch Bridge connects Russia to the annexed territory of Crimea. It's strategically important for Russia because it's the only direct path to send supplies and reinforcements to Crimea. And remember, Crimea is the peninsula that belonged to Ukraine until the Russians took it over back in 2014, although the U.S. and others have never recognized the area as Russia's. All traffic on the bridge was halted temporarily because of the explosion. It's since been partially reopened as Russian engineers try to repair it. Russia blames Ukraine, though at this point no one is claiming responsibility for the incident. Some Ukrainian officials celebrated on social media, though. One presidential advisor responded to Putin's claims of it being terrorism, tweeting, quote, "There is only one terrorist state here and the whole world knows who it is." The White House would not talk about this attack, but says it'll continue to support and supply Ukraine with weapons. Now, some worry about how Russia might retaliate. Already, Russia launched a flurry of missile attacks on the town of Zaporizhia in Ukraine. And then early this morning, the AP reports 2 explosions rocked the capital city of Kyiv. Still, finding a peaceful end to the fighting has been a top priority for many. It's also now earned some a Nobel Peace Prize. 2 human rights groups from Russia and Ukraine won the prestigious award, along with a jailed activist in the country of Belarus. The new honorees were selected for their outstanding efforts to document human rights abuses and war crimes in the ongoing conflict. The 3 winners will share a prize of about $900,000. The Biden administration is putting new major restrictions on China's access to key technology. The new rules are meant to slow the progress of China's military, which uses advanced computers for everything from weapons to surveillance. Specifically, the new rules target the sale of semiconductors or computer chips. So any American chip makers will need to get a special license from the U.S. Commerce Department to sell and send certain chips to China. These rules also prohibit other countries from selling certain chips to China that are made with U.S. technology. The Wall Street Journal calls the restrictions the broadest the U.S. has ever enacted against China's chip industry, and cited U.S. officials who said it's necessary for national security and beyond. China, though, not surprisingly, is not happy with the new restrictions. China says it'll hurt supply chains and the world economy, including American companies. Either way, tensions are now even higher between the world's 2 major superpowers. The destruction estimates from Hurricane Ian are coming in. The latest analysis has put the total insured damage amount between $67 and $74 billion. To put those numbers into perspective for you, the most expensive storm ever to hit the U.S. was Hurricane Katrina. That did $85 billion in insured losses. Experts believe Ian will be somewhere in the top 5 worst. Insurance officials say most of the damage did not come from Ian's strong winds. They say it was the huge storm surges and massive flooding it brought. In some places, entire homes and buildings were washed away. Over the weekend, Florida officials began allowing some residents of Fort Myers Beach back in to assess their properties. They had been kept away while first responders searched the rubble for survivors. Still, many roads are clogged with so much debris you can't drive through. In the hardest hit areas, residents say it looks like a war zone, and some still don't have power or clean water. It could be months before the true cost of the storm is realized. Today is a federal holiday, although depending on where you live, it's commemorated differently. Traditionally, it's Columbus Day, marking Christopher Columbus's first voyage to America in 1492. And many Italian-American organizations say Columbus Day is a time to celebrate their ethnic heritage. But over the years, it's been recognized more and more that Columbus was not the first person to discover the Americas. Of course, indigenous peoples and their ancestors have been living on the land now known as North America for thousands of years before the first European explorers arrived. So some argue Columbus represents mass genocide and white supremacy. Now, a growing list of cities and states have replaced Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day or Native American Day. Regardless, you can expect government offices, including the post office, to be closed today, along with most banks, libraries, and at least some workplaces and schools. All right, we have more news coming up, but first, a quick break to thank our sponsor, Rothy's. I love the cozy feeling of fall, from big sweaters to cinnamon-topped lattes. Well, let Rothy's be your newest obsession for fall and every season after. Rothy's just launched 2 new sustainably made sneakers with extraordinary comfort for all-day wear. So what do I mean by sustainable? They are made with recycled single-use plastic bottles. Yes, your shoes. So I love knowing that my Rothy's shoes are not only stylish and comfortable, they are also better for the planet. Whether you like the luxe slip-on or a laid-back lace-up, you'll feel extraordinary comfort with each step, and they're built to last. Rothy's are 100% machine washable, which is especially helpful if you get white sneakers like I have. They'll be your favorite shoes for years to come. Oh, and in addition to Rothy's new sneakers, Rothy's original slip-on sneaker won Best Slip-on Sneaker from Self Magazine's 2022 Sneaker Awards. So get stylish shoes, versatile and durable enough to wear all the time with Rothy's. Get $20 off your first purchase at rothys.com/newsworthy. That's ROTHYS, rothys.com/newsworthy. It's official now. The NFL has changed its rules and protocols when it comes to concussions. The term ataxia has been added to the mandatory no-go symptoms. So basically, if any player looks like they're having issues with their balancing, speaking, or coordination, they'll be removed from games until they get the necessary care. The call for immediate safety changes came after Miami Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa was hurt in 2 games only days apart and ended up in the hospital. The league said the medical staff who decided he was allowed to return did follow current protocols, but the outcome was not what was intended when the protocols were drafted. The new changes went into effect yesterday for all of Sunday's games, and one player was already pulled under the new rules. It was the Dolphins again. Their backup quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater, was tackled and examined for a head injury. Under the old rules, he would have been allowed to keep playing. The new rules, though, said Bridgewater had to be removed as a precaution. As for Tua, he has not returned to playing since his injury. PayPal is now backtracking and apologizing over its updated policies. The company's newest user agreement said it could fine users up to $2,500 for promoting misinformation on its platform, and that the company might even take the money right out of users' accounts. The rule faced backlash. Even some of the company's former leaders weighed in online. Former PayPal president David Marcus tweeted that, quote, "A private company now gets to decide to take your money if you say something they disagree with. Insanity." Elon Musk, who actually co-founded what is now PayPal before it was sold, tweeted that he agrees. But now a company spokesperson said the policy update had incorrect information and was sent out by mistake, that PayPal is not going to fine people for misinformation and is apologizing for the confusion. Facebook parent company Meta is warning 1 million users their login information may have been compromised, and the culprit was scammy third-party apps. The company says it identified about 400 of these basically useless apps that were only designed to get your Facebook account info. They apparently required you to log in with your Facebook credentials only, and then would not really work as promised once you did. These apps mainly claimed to be photo editing tools, though there were also apps claiming to be for horoscopes, fitness tracking, and more. The apps could be downloaded from Apple and Google stores. Meta says it's reached out to both Apple and Google and that all the apps it found to be suspicious have been removed. Meta recommends changing your password if you get a notice. Kanye West has had quite the controversial week, and now some of his social media accounts have been restricted. The rapper that just goes by Ye posted anti-Semitic messages to both his Instagram and Twitter accounts, and both platforms said he violated their policies. First, on Instagram, he posted a screenshot of what appeared to be a text message conversation where Ye suggested fellow rapper P. Diddy was being controlled by Jews. You can still see Ye's Instagram account, but parent company Meta confirmed to news outlets that the account was restricted. Later, one of Ye's tweets was deleted and replaced with a message about it violating Twitter's rules. The tweet also took aim at Jews, saying, quote, "DEFCON 3 on Jewish people." He went on to claim he can't be anti-Semitic because Black people are actually Jews. The American Jewish Committee called his language dangerous and also referenced an interview he did with Fox's Tucker Carlson last week. He talked about a bunch of things in that interview, including his decision to wear a White Lives Matter shirt at Paris Fashion Week. Many in the fashion industry and beyond criticized the move. Ye told Carlson he thought it was a funny shirt and said it's just stating the obvious. The Anti-Defamation League calls it a white supremacist phrase in response to the Black Lives Matter movement. For the first time ever, a Netflix movie will be shown by all 3 major movie theaters, AMC, Regal, and Cinemark, and it'll come out about a month before it's available on Netflix. But this is happening for 1 week only. This sneak peek is for the upcoming movie Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. It's the highly anticipated sequel to the murder mystery comedy Knives Out. It's only being released in about 600 theaters. A full release is more than 3,000. Deadline calls the screenings a peace treaty between theaters and Netflix. Tickets for the Knives Out sneak peek go on sale today. Then the exclusive 1-week showing will begin November 23rd, the day before Thanksgiving. The movie will still be released on Netflix, but you'll have to wait until just before Christmas to watch it. That's it for the main news, so now it's time for Money Monday, when we talk about one interesting money-related news story. But first, a message from our sponsor, Indeed. The world, just like your business, is changing fast. So when you need to hire, you have to find them ASAP. For top talent fast, you need Indeed. Indeed is the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. If you hate waiting, Indeed's U.S. data shows over 80% of Indeed employers find quality candidates whose resume on Indeed matches their job description the moment they sponsor a job. Plus, Indeed has a suite of powerful hiring tools like Indeed Instant Match, assessments, and virtual interviews. So instead of making your candidates jump through hoops, Indeed's virtual interview tool means there's nothing to download, just click and talk. You can message, schedule, and interview top talent all in one place. Indeed knows when you're growing your own business, you have to make every dollar count. That's why when you sponsor a job, you only pay for quality applications from resumes in the database matching your job description. Visit Indeed.com/newsworthy to start hiring now. Just go to Indeed.com/newsworthy. Indeed.com/newsworthy. Terms and conditions apply. Cost per application pricing not available for everyone. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Okay, now back to Money Monday. The holiday shopping season keeps getting earlier and earlier, and that means more deals as the biggest retailers, Amazon and Walmart, try to compete for your business. For the first time, Amazon is launching a Prime Early Access sale that starts tomorrow and lasts for 2 days. Basically, it's a sale similar to its Prime Day in July, but it'll feature more discounted toys and gifts. So, starting today, Walmart is launching a competing sale called Rollbacks and More. It lasts until Thursday. All the typical Black Friday type items, toys, electronics, clothes, will be on sale. And they're not the only ones. Macy's, Kohl's, and Bed Bath & Beyond are also holding sales this week in order to compete. Target had some deals last week into the weekend. Recent polling by the National Retail Federation found that more than 40% of shoppers plan to buy holiday gifts now-ish for fear that prices will keep going up because of inflation. And earlier than ever discounts probably have something to do with it too. All right, thank you so much for listening today and making us part of your morning routines. We'll be back with more news to know tomorrow. For now, have a great day.